felt like a whole situation of keep Dolph Ziggler quiet, give him the title for a little while, maybe he'll stop making some noise. So a little bit disappointed on that front, but I think the match in general, it was a solid match. I didn't really see too many problems with it. I thought they worked well with one another. They did kind of bring up points that Sami Zayn and The Miz had fought before. I didn't really think they needed to bring that up, that, Sami Zayn had better with him in 2 other occasions. I didn't really think that should have been brought up at the time. But yeah, I did enjoy it. The ending for me, I wasn't too against it as you was. I know it's designed to sort of get the Miz some more heat, and it's a good little spot for Maurice there to actually be able to do something like that for once. Actually have a bit more of a bigger role outside.
Yeah, I just didn't like the ending to it. I just hate when they make the referees complete plonkers. Like, he's having a go at Maurice because he can see that she's rung the bell and he's having a go about it. But then the moment the Miz goes to the roll, it's fine, I'll count that. No problems, it's like, hang on a minute, there's no consistency with it. I would have preferred, even if we'd have had Dolph Ziggler come out and interrupt and get it all wrong. Because, man, not even involved last night is quite unbelievable in a lot of ways, Matt, isn't it? I mean, 1 minute you're on it, and then you're not even involved in this match that, he's just been beaten, all the rest of it. I mean, really and truly, it's quite diabolical, isn't it, in that sense? Is there any reports of an injury or anything here, Matt? Am I not reading something? Has he done something wrong with the office? Or have you seen anything your end?
No, I haven't seen any reports or anything like that at all. I don't know what's happened there, but, it clearly didn't run smoothly.
No. Overall, that match, I give 3 stars. Nothing too bad about it, but nothing overall exciting. Of course, The Miz retaining gets retaining because of that. But, still the Intercontinental Champion. And, for Sami Zayn, I suppose it might be a little nice mark with him that this guy can do it. I don't know how much faith that the WWE in the back has on him. It doesn't seem that much. I'm going to be honest with you. They don't seem like they have too much faith in him. Sometimes I wish, Matt, that he was still in NXT. I really do, because he was such more of a big deal there. And I would have loved to have seen him up against like Bobby Roode and that obnoxious kind of thing, because he's totally designed as a babyface for guys like him, but I think he gets fed to the slaughter on the main roster sometimes. I mean, they really don't design him to be anything credible that much. Like 1 minute he's on a par with Owens, and then all of a sudden he can't do that much at all. It's a bit of a joke, really. But your overall sum up of the match, Matt, and I suppose no real shock there that the Miz retained.
For me, I'll give it a 3, because even though it was kind of, it wasn't a clean finish, I didn't really mind it. I wanted to see the Miz win, and it did a good job of protecting Sami Zayn at the end. It didn't really do him any harm, that loss, because people will feel it was a little bit cheated. So I think it did all the things it should.
Fair enough. We get another backstage segment where AJ and Ambrose basically they just argue. Enzo and then we get obviously Enzo and Cass come out and they sort of play to the crowd, and this was setting up the massive, I mean, Jesus, this was so many wrestlers, Matt. This was the one I had real doubts about as a Survivor Series traditional match. I mean, it just felt like it was an overload of talent. I mean, you can only do so much when these things happen. So many stars out on this one. SmackDown vs Raw, the tag teams. First of all, Matt, I mean, New Day, they didn't seem to come off too well in this, out sort of very early on, weren't they? And is that a sign of the times for them, Matt, going forward, because of people starting to get, has that run its course? I mean, you've got to be careful that you don't overdo it with them. But I do feel like it's getting to that stage now where if the WWE are not careful, it could backfire on all 3 of those guys, and then you've got a problem of what you do with them next. So you've got to be careful how you the presentation now. What did you think about that? Them going out so early as the tag team holders on Raw.
That was a big surprise for me actually. Almost as big a surprise as as sort of Tyler Breeze and Fandango going out first. What can I say?
Yeah.
But them going out next straight away after, that was a huge surprise. I didn't see that coming. But then again, it just removes that sort of question mark. I mean, they don't need anything to further themselves. Like they're completely over the fans. It's good for now. Things are running smooth. I think it was good to get them out of the way so we could focus on the sort of less established tag teams and make bigger stars out of them.
Yeah, I was disappointed in the match that American Alpha, like they got their spots in, but they didn't. I wanted them to have a little bit more of a getting over period in that match. Like I kept saying before this on the preview show, that this was always a time in Survivor Series traditional matches where you can get guys over that aren't normally in the main bit, and it's like you can give them some good moments. But I didn't feel like they'd done too much with those guys. I would have liked to have seen them do a bit more. The underscore in this one, obviously, coming to the end of it, that Team Raw winning was obviously. I really enjoyed Cesaro during the match. I felt he came off very well for me. I enjoyed that a lot, and him and Sheamus. I think, Matt, we've both said nowadays that we do see them as a pretty decent tag team, and I know they're actually getting a title shot tonight on Raw, which is interesting. But they seem to they were the ones, obviously WWE were focusing on this as the sort of survivors the survivors of it. But overall, Matt, the match, was there anything else that you liked in the match or didn't like in general, with like sort of Gallows and Anderson and all the rest of it that were there?
I think what I really liked was like the ending when it came down to the last two. It was another one of those things like we spoke about before, when you felt the need to win and like the reluctancy to lose, and they really had that. Like they both really got across that feeling. Like they made such a big deal of Raw versus SmackDown, but I think in this match is where it truly came out. Like every time I thought it was over, that someone would just in time jump in and break up the pin, and I think it did a really good job of telling that story. And I did enjoy that. It made the Usos look good. It made Cesaro and Sheamus look good. And at the end, I thought they were finally going to shake hands. I thought there's finally going to become a proper team. But that'd be too good to be true.
Yeah, they're playing up to that one quite well. I mean, it's not. They're doing a good job. I mean, I don't like too much comedy with them guys, but I like the fact that Cesaro will put his arms up and he gets that massive reaction, and Sheamus tries it and it just doesn't work for him. And I do think there's some value to it. I just hope they don't overplay it sometimes. Like comedy in wrestling, it's a very fine line sometimes, and you can come off quite goofy. In sometimes. Matt, Team Raw winning. I thought this was all Team SmackDown. I felt this is the one for them, but it wasn't to be, and it was Team Raw. Match going for just under 20 minutes. Overall, I think it was pretty decent, especially with the amount of talent involved. It is hard to come off well in these kind of matches. Like I say, sometimes there's an absolute cluster of nonsense happening. But I felt with this, it was very, very well done and structured. And actually, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was. So I give this one actually 3.5, just below the 4. It would have got the 4 had maybe for me they just pushed and elevated some of those other guys that you just don't see, especially American Alpha. I would have really liked that, or even somewhat the Usos. But what was your sum up, Matt, and rating for that match?
It's got to be 4 stars from me because I did enjoy the way it sort of panned out in the end, and I think, like I said before, it definitely got across that feeling that all that stuff they were saying about Raw versus SmackDown means something. It was showed by the way they fought to the end, like even after false finish.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, yep. So they went over very well. Moving on from that, we had the WWE Cruiserweight title match. Champion Brian Kendrick going up against Kalisto, and there was of course a stipulation like the Intercontinental that if Kalisto was to win it goes to SmackDown. The whole division would go to SmackDown. And before we went into this match, I pretty much said that this was a guarantee. I thought of Kalisto winning because of the period that they're going to shoot this. But I'm guessing now they're going to just run that cruiserweights, if they're going to be in that town anyway, those guys are going to have to work 2 nights because they're going to work on Raw and then do the 205 show on the back end of the SmackDown taping. So that's going to be jolly for them, isn't it? Overall, Matt, this match, again, they changed all the ropes. They made it look different. But, you know, when I was watching this, Matt, this wasn't so different to anything else. This just felt like a WWE match. I mean, I don't know what you thought, but why are they going out on this rampage to make everything look so different? As if to say, yes, you're going to watch the Cruiserweight division now. This is going to be fast and edgy and everything else. Why are they advertising it like that when purely we are getting a typical WWE match in a lot of ways? And man, the ending to this was diabolical. I mean, Baron Corbin coming out it just made a mockery of those guys. It didn't do anything for either one of them. And I don't know. There was no real. Even going forward, I know people will say, "Well, the payoff might not have been last night; it might be down the line." I've seen this before. I've seen it on TNA when Kevin Nash. I think it was Kevin Nash. Was it? Or was it somebody else? Turned up in like the X division, like beating up everybody. Or was it Abyss? I can't remember. But I've seen that angle done before. I'm not that like, whoa, that was unique. And Baron Corbin, like, what the hell? What did you think about the match, man? And also, just like, again, as I was saying, did you think it was just a typical WWE match, or did you think this was the Cruiserweight sort of thing that we're supposed to get now, or did you just see it as another match?
Well, they went on and made such a big deal about the importance of getting the Cruiserweight division and, you know, how serious it was to put this on the line. But all this was, it was just story, you know, like anything that happened in that ring was thought up after they thought about the storyline. Mm-hmm. They couldn't have really cared what happened in that ring, probably.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like, you know, Kalisto's all on his own on SmackDown. You know, he kind of needs to join that division because on SmackDown, like, there's no one of his kind of size, and it is a little bit unfair on him. I know that you can't really say that after people like Rey Mysterio have done very well, but still, I think Kalisto needs time to build. So it's a little bit disappointing that he's not part of that, and it doesn't really look like he's going to be part of that soon. But even just the little things annoy me about that match, like Baron Corbin coming in, fair enough, wiping him out. But then to say Brian Kendrick won the match, yeah, he might have got hit first, but he was not being helped out by Baron Corbin. He wiped them both out, you know. That should be a double disqualification, but clearly they don't want any question marks hanging in the air over who gets ownership of the sort of Cruiserweight division.
Yeah, it was one of. I think Brian Kendrick. I loved some of the moves he done in it. I think it was really good. I mean, I would keep that belt on Kendrick for a while. I don't want to see too many guys. They need to really establish this thing first and foremost. And Kendrick, just because Vince probably knows him above all the rest of the guys, probably makes him firm favourite. But I'd just say keep him where he is because he's like. As far as character and everything, he's got it down to a T. I like it. I think he's really good. But I don't know. I just don't get the division. I don't even know if they know what it is yet. They seem so confused about it. I've been very disappointed since it's debuted on Raw. I don't think they've done it well at all. I wanted the Cruiserweight title to be as... I'm not saying on a level as the World Heavyweight title, but... It should be one of those divisions where you can be a lower weight, amazing talent. There shouldn't be, and you're just the best in pound for pound between those weights. That's how it should be presented. But they're not doing that. They're just treating them as like sort of garbage in a lot of ways. I mean, I hate the whole idea of the presentation completely changing like that. I think it just sends out, oh, now it's time to go off and have a drink. Or go to the toilet, or do you know what I mean? Like every time they do that, it's not getting people more invested. It's not doing what the Cruiserweights were doing on WCW, which was in between all this heavy storyline of the NWO and all the rest of it. You put these guys on. It's not like that on Raw. They're not treating it that way, and they're really in a bad spot with that. It's not coming off too well, just felt sorry for both those guys because there's not too much they could have done more, and the ending sort of spoiled it all. And